And so what I thought would probably be the best, depending, I didn't know quite how many people would be here. So I thought if I describe to you how these cards came to me and what the basic message was when they came through to me, then you'll know how best to use them. These cards, I had been, a little bit of background, I'd been working with connection to the angels. I'd been doing workshops, I'd written some books, and I really wanted to have my own set of cards. Everybody, all the angel authors have their own sets of cards, and I wanted my set of cards. But I'm also I'm a spiritual facilitator, and what that means is I enable and empower people to find their own spiritual connection. So I didn't want something that was sort of an oracle that would be used just for telling fortunes or for use as clairvoyance, as a tool for clairvoyance. My whole reason for creating these was so that people can use them for their own personal spiritual development. And so get back in line there for you. When I sat with Watkins Publishers, when it was Duncan Bed Publishing, they decided that they wanted to have, rather like a normal card set, they wanted 4 suits of cards. And so we sat together, and because I work with the 7 archangels that are written about in Theosophy, these are the 7 angels that are said to be the guardians of the throne of God. I wanted to use those. I really wanted to be part of that 7 archangels, but we couldn't because we needed to choose 4. So we choose the main 4, the 4 that almost everyone's heard of. And so we have Michael, Gabriel, Raphael and Uriel. And each of these cards, there are 12 per set of each of the angels. And so you'll see on your card that I gave you earlier that there is either green around the edge of the card or blue around the edge, or white, or red. If it's blue, it's a message from Michael. If it's red, it's a message from Uriel. If it's white, it's a message from Gabriel. And if it's green, it's a message from Raphael. And so what I had to do was to fit each of these angelic qualities into one of those 4 archangel sets. But obviously, as we all know, all the qualities, all the virtues, they're all divine, and you can't say necessarily that one specific quality belongs uniquely to one particular archangel. And so you will see that there is a crossover. Of course there's a crossover, but principally these 4 energies, these huge great archangel energies, are the guiding force that helped me to create these cards. And so the publisher gave me 52 words, and I had to sit with each of these words. I lit a candle, I sat in my office, I asked the angels to use me as a conduit for the information that they felt, or that the universe wanted to go into the meaning of each card, because it was really important that they would be understood by the majority, but with a really poignant message for the few. And so some people will take a card and they'll just say, well, that's a nice picture of an angel. Ah, yes, knowledge. I wonder what that's supposed to mean, and go straight to the book and find out. Some people, however, will pick up the card and suddenly something from that image speaks to them. And the meaning is much more deep and much more useful. So everyone that has the cards needs to get used to each of the pictures, because every one of these cards, the colours, the symbols, the meaning, the way the angel is standing or sitting, everything on each of these depicts the meaning behind the word that's at the bottom. And the whole idea of the 52 is that you can use them as a tool for personal spiritual growth. You can take one card. And you can work with the affirmation of that card, you can work with the imagery, the symbolism on the card for a whole week. And while you're using it, you are raising your vibration. You are tuning in not just to the archangel of that set, but you're tuning into the whole energy, the vibration of the word that's portrayed there. Words are energy. Words are not just letters in a row on a page. Every time we think of something, we are engaging with the energy of the vibration of whatever it is we want to say, which is why we have to be really careful when we speak. Every word, every name carries that vibration. And so if you use it as an affirmation, as you know, affirmations start with I am. And we're told that the name of God is I am, that I am, meaning I am in everything. When we use an affirmation, we are reminding ourselves of something that we already are. Even in the Bible, Jesus says, let the weak man say, I am strong. In other words, thousands of years ago, the masters already knew that by saying I am something, you are confirming to the outside world, and you're reaffirming to your own body, to your own cells, to the memory of whatever's being held there. You are reaffirming something that's really useful on your journey. So every single one of these, I mean, look at this big, this looks as if that's the whole set of cards. Of course it's not. I've got about 2 sets of cards here. Every single one of these has an affirmation, and my suggestion is that when you pick a card, you find the affirmation, you might want to look up what it means, or you might not want to, but it's really helpful and it works. It really works because your intention is to tune into that vibration, into that energy, and every time we do something that raises our vibration, we're getting nearer and nearer to the ascension process, which is kind of what we're all here to do. We're all here to, well, I think we're all here to go back to the light. But, sorry, let me tell you how I tuned in first of all. So when I'm teaching people how to use these cards, I will invite people to tune in first of all with the 4 major archangels. So you've got the Gabriel card. Somebody that came in earlier picked up the Raphael card. There is a Michael. That's a healing card. That's not the Archangel Raphael. I mean, it's a message from Raphael, but that's not the image of the Archangel Raphael. There are 4, and I ask people to put them down on their table. And then I ask people to just sit and to tune into that energy, so that when they take the cards, whatever it is, the vibration, the energy, the archangel, whatever it is that's guiding you to choose the card, will help you to understand why you've chosen it and where you're actually going with it. Does that make sense? Everyone thinks that the choice of a card is random. So if I pass out the cards and I've shuffled them and I hold them like this, and you think that it's a random choice. When I'm doing festivals and mind, body, spirit events, there'll be a whole pile of them all in a basket, and as people go by, I invite them to take a card. I open all the packs, buy all the packs, open the packs, and just give them all away, because the energy in them is really phenomenal. The energy in these, it took 4 artists before they found one who actually portrayed the energy in the picture. So the colours and the symbols that I described, he got it. He was able to portray it. His name is René Milo. He's a Canadian, and the energy that he has put into these is quite remarkable. So I can't take the credit for them. Obviously, I was the conduit. The messages came through me. That was angelic. That was divine. And then the artist just happened to be able to write, draw exactly what I'd asked him to do. The only one that he didn't, which was really funny, when all the sketches came back from the artist, there is one of these which is New Beginnings, and the imagery that I had seen, because I'm quite visual, so I always ask the angels to show me in pictures what I'm supposed to say, and the imagery I had seen was of an angel pushing the moon away very gently with one hand and welcoming the sun with the other. And when the sketch came through, I burst out laughing, and I said to my husband, "What's this a picture of?" And he said, "It's someone 10-pin bowling," because that's just what it looked like. And the other one, which is the card of peace, which is this one, which is a beautiful image of a huge angel holding the earth in her hands and really loving the planet Earth. And I had seen this huge angel in my mind's eye holding the earth and just loving it so much. And so my instructions were, the angel is hugging the earth. And when it came back, I said to my husband, "What's this a picture of?" And he said, "Well, it looks like an angel that's tripped," because he was lying on the ground holding the earth instead of holding the earth like a big angel holding the earth. But those were the only two. Everything else was absolutely spot on. It was as if I'd had long conversations with the artist, which I hadn't. These were very brief resumes that I had to write for each of them. So it was a great teamwork. We have Michael. We ask for the power of Michael to come through us. We sit for a moment and we meditate on this amazing, powerful energy that comes closer to us when we call. I'm just going to wait for that noise to go by. Michael to come close to us. And then we ask if we can step into that light. And we sit with it. And we ask for all the qualities that we believe to be Michael qualities. So we ask for power, we ask for protection, we ask for the ability to use the sword to cut away anything that we want to release ourselves from. And then we take a card. And so whatever card we've taken, if we're calling on Michael, will add energy to the message. So if you choose a Michael card, which has got blue around it like you have there, you choose the Michael card, and the energy of Michael that you've just tuned into gives that more power. Does that make sense? So when we're speaking with Raphael, for example, we're tuning into an energy. The angels don't look like that. They just don't look like that. But as human beings, we have to have something. We just have to have something that we can pay attention to, and it has to be a picture of an angel in a way that we can accept that. So for a lot of people, when they see angels, they do look like that. They might be a being of light that's in that form, or they might be a stranger who happens to say something that then they disappear. I mean, loads and loads of people write to me telling me about how their life was saved, and when they turned to say thank you, the being had gone, or the person had gone. If we want healing, we tune into Archangel Raphael. We sit, we call on the angel Raphael, and the energy of healing comes closer to us. Not like a person suddenly standing there. Very often at workshops, I will say, imagine an angel standing behind you, placing their hands on your shoulders and giving you a blessing. Because that's what we like to do. We like to imagine an angel standing behind us. It's comforting, it's wonderful. And very often that's how we feel it, isn't it? We feel this presence around us. But it still doesn't mean they look like that. It means they're wafting their wonderful energy around you. And Raphael can inspire you to heal yourself. Raphael is the archangel of self-discovery. In order to heal, you have to understand what it is that you're doing that's making you ill. You have to understand what the thoughts are, what the behavior patterns are that are making you ill. Yesterday, I'm going to share this with you because it's so exciting. It's got nothing to do with this Angel Insight pack. but it's really exciting. Yesterday, I was coming to the end of my first draft of the next book. And in this, I was talking about the violet flame and the violet flame energy of transformation and the Archangel Zadkiel. And I decided that I needed a little bit of scientific proof to back up what I was saying about the exchange of energy. And so I just Googled, what is light / exchange of energy / cells? And up came this website, which actually I had no idea what the website was, except that it was science. It wasn't another New Age site or a book or anything like that. It was just about science. And it said the heat of the light in the photons raises the energy of the cell. If the exchange of light isn't passed from that cell to another, the photon loses its vibration. The light in the cell loses its vibration. And it had a graph, and it showed violet light. Clearly it's talking about ultraviolet light. And the arrow was going right up the side because it's the violet light that raises the vibration the most. And then it had another little graph, and it showed blue light. And I thought, how interesting. The violet and the blue, which are the two colours that we consider to be transformational and highly spiritual. And then it said, if the light is not exchanged from the photon in the cell loses its vibration and can become too hot. And I got so excited, because if we don't share, if we don't exchange the light energy, the vibration of love, because light is God, God is love, it's a vibration of high vibrational energy. If we don't exchange it, just like the photons in the cells, the vibration is lowered. Don't you think that's exciting? This is science backing up what we've been teaching for so long, that it's all about energy. We raise our vibration, we exchange that light between us, and we're healthy. If we hold on to it because we daren't, or because someone's suppressed it within us, or we've allowed that power to be taken away, we get too hot, the vibration goes down, and we might have things like passive-aggressive behaviour, we might get depression, we might be very angry and aggressive, and we express it in very unkind and unhelpful ways, or we might create some kind of dis-ease within the body. Makes sense? But I didn't realise I was looking at a camera website, and I was reading about the light in the photons relating to the light that a camera needs in order to take photographs, because I was so excited that this science was backing up my theory of the necessity of the exchange of energy between people, with love, between the light and human beings, between the angels and ourselves. And I can see that you don't share my excitement in this. It's fascinating. Whatever we have been taught now, all of this stuff about love and light and healing and all of this spiritual stuff is now being backed up. We can nearly find almost everything I've needed to find. I can find it now being backed up in science. It's fantastic. And so my theory is that angels are pure light. It's not just my theory, it's been a theory around for a long, long time. The angels are pure light. And when we're tuning into these cards, we're tuning into the light, the vibration of that particular entity that we call an archangel, which is so vast, so huge, that we can't ever conceive that as human beings. It's rather like having a gigantic rainbow stretched across the universe, and each of these rays of colour, if you like, represent an energy, a vibrational energy of a particular quality, and we're tapping into that all the time. So the blue is the power of the spiritual forces of heaven, the power of God, and the green is this balance which we have all around us everywhere in the universe, this beautiful green energy that gives us healing, makes us feel good, that can ground our bodies. And the white is Gabriel. White is grace and hope and joy and new beginnings. Gabriel is the one who brings the messages of the new tomorrow. Has anybody picked up a Gabriel card apart from the lady with the actual? Has anybody got white around the edge? So this is Gabriel message to you. You've picked up the card of direction. And that card is telling you that from where the angel stands, each direction looks clear. There are no obstacles. You just have to choose. It's not predestined. It's a signpost with nothing written on. You can choose, and then when you've chosen, you will be assisted and supported and guided in your choice. That's the one. You've got a Gabriel message too. This is Revelation. This is this beautiful card of an angel holding the trumpet. And if you have a look at the end of that instrument, that trumpet, it's sparkly. It's got lots of sparkles, which means good news. And it's lifted high, which means great news, good news. The only bad news is you have to wait for God's timing, not yours. So it's a revelation, and the card means all will be revealed in divine timing, but it's good. And you had the card of ascension, which is all about balancing the chakras, balancing your energy, finding a life balance that's grounded and yet spiritual, and that you can express in all the different areas of your life. And it's telling you that that's why you're here and that's what you're doing. It's a beautiful image, isn't it? You didn't get a card.
I was a bit late, actually.
Would you like one?
I went to the cinema.
Would you like a card?
I'd like one too, please.
Yes!
Can I?
Of course.
It's great.
You go.
Oh, great.
Okay. Would you like one?
Actually, I might have to leave a bit early, so...
Okay, well you can still have a card.
No, I'll leave it. I'm interested in what you're saying.
Okay.
Can we have one more card, please, for my friend?
Okay. So the messages, all of the cards are to help you on your tomorrow, on your next step of your personal spiritual development. Whatever card you took is reminding you which of the archangels you can tune into at any time. It's suggesting that you may like to look at the affirmation that goes with that particular card or make one up for yourself. It's suggesting that there are qualities in there that you could focus on. If it's a Uriel card, the message is always, how may I serve? So if you have red around the edge of the card, it is always about how may I serve and how may I become a channel for world peace or my own peace, inner peace, serving the world. Somebody over there's got a red card, have you?
She's got Archangel Uriel.
There you are. So the Archangel Uriel message is all about inner peace. It's a powerful image, very, very powerful card. Archangel Uriel is said to be one of the greatest and the most influential of all the angels. Uriel and Michael are the ones that have the hosts of angels in all the biblical and the reference books. It's supposed to be Uriel that battled with Jacob when and fought over the body of Jacob when he died. It's very interesting. All of this stuff, all in literature, it's been going for a long time, but they all talk about people. They all talk about angels as if it was a person. I don't know many angels in my life that are people. I know lots of them that are high vibrational light, but I have come across some wonderful people. How do you know if you've met an angel? Depends on your circumstances, depends on how you feel in your heart, and it depends on their actions and their words. Lots of people nowadays are saying that they are angels. I just came back from a trip to the Holy Land with 92 people, and of the 92, I would say 45 of them believed themselves to be angels.
I'm just wondering about when you mentioned the Palestine and Jerusalem, that type of vicinity.
Really? Whether that was a perfectly good example for you to bring up, because in the same story he offers his daughters in payment, and I'm not sure that an angel would either expect any payment or certainly not take a daughter as payment. So that's a very strange story, the Sodom and Gomorrah story, and I think it's possibly one of the stories that could possibly be a fable, so that we learn from it, but isn't necessarily fact. However, in the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, every time something happens of any significance, there is reference to an angel there at the same time, which is why it troubles me when people ask, when people say, how can you be worshipping angels? And that's clearly not what you're supposed to be doing. We're not worshipping angels, we're connecting, we are communicating. And actually worship means to honour.
Can I ask you another question then?
Yeah, the whole of the Alice Bailey books. And they're all navy blue, and they're very, very old. They were my mother's, and they were all printed by the Lucis Trust. Now, because they were printed by the Lucis Trust, my husband has a problem with that, because it's the beginning of the word Lucifer, but actually it means light, light. And so there are so many theories about who Lucifer was. It's very interesting. There are theories that Lucifer was the favoured, and is the Prince of Light. But Jesus calls himself the light. So that's quite fascinating. You have to weave and delve and dig to find out what is an element of truth and what might be man-made. It's very interesting, because in the Middle Ages there was so much interest in the Kabbalah, and of course the Jews were all being kicked out from everywhere. And at that time in Europe, one of the popes came up with a whole massive fictitious document, a whole scripture called the Grimoires, which was to counterbalance. He created all these demons to counterbalance all of the angelology, if you want to call it that the Jews believed in, to do with the Kabbalah. Because the Jews were feared, and because of their magic, and because of their interest in angels, and because of their ability to connect with the angelic realms through numbers or dance or whatever, they were feared. And so it was a pope that wrote this great tome of demons, demonology. It was quite fascinating. So where does this idea of Lucifer come from? I don't know. Personally, I feel that if there's anything like a film or a book or a program or a TV program or a conversation that feels toxic, don't do it. So if there's a film about Lucifer and you find it interesting and you think, then protect yourself if you feel that that's appropriate. Draw in your boundaries if you feel that's appropriate, and go and watch it if you want to. And then you've got an educated opinion because you've seen it and you can critique it for yourself. Yeah, that's my answer to that one.
Okay.
I did a workshop a long time ago, probably in the early 2000 and something, and one of the questions that came up was from a little girl, and she was really troubled by the whole Lucifer thing, the whole Satan Lucifer thing.
Well, I should mention angelic.
It's not in the Bible. That particular take on that story isn't biblical. It's come from some of the other writers. However, what is in the Bible is that there is a character called Satan, and Satan tests people. Satan pushes people. Satan is the one that says to God, are you sure this man's so wise? Why not test him? So he's the kind of tester. He's not necessarily evil. So it's very, very interesting. However, that's not about the angel cards, but it is fascinating. It's lovely. Go on, Fiona. An angelic presence. It is pure light. It's white light. Yeah, I see light. Sometimes I see like a smoky light, but that's not dimmer than the brightness. It's just that it seems to move like a lava lamp, or like smoke moves when it's being blown. When I saw an angel, when an angel came and visited me, it was pure white light, but it moved into a shape that was the shape of a traditional angel shape. The only difference was it had 2 pairs of wings. It had a huge pair of wings around it, folded, and then it had a great big pair of wings going up like brush strokes into the heaven. And it was only that made me realise I wasn't making it up. You know, I mean, obviously I was thinking, that looks like an angel. Oh my God, that looks like an angel. And I thought, I questioned myself, am I making this up? And it was only the fact that I don't think I could have made that up, the 2 pairs of wings. I would have just seen an angel probably with wings like they draw on Christmas cards. And so I knew, and as it came towards me, the fabric of the robe and the hair were blowing in the breeze of the air outside my window. So, and it had feet and it had hands. And I couldn't see a face because the face was too bright. I couldn't look into the face. It was so bright. Fascinating, pure light. And when I am really in the zone of being in the presence of an angel, it's almost as if I am absorbed into that light itself. I'm not separate from it. I feel part of that light, which is why my next book is called Stepping into the Light of Angels, because I feel we call them. I don't feel we can just go, I need a new car and I want someone to love and I need a new job. I think it's much deeper than that. It's real, it's light, it's vibration. We need to raise our vibration to be able to encourage and bring those things to us. I don't think we're not children. We're not writing a Christmas list. It's about developing and maturing into spiritual beings and embodying that light. Yeah. Questions? Unless it's just the dark night of the soul. You know, the dark night. We go through these phases, don't we, of real darkness and come out the other side. The thing with when you're in the presence of the light, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow it projects. And the human nature is to question everything, and the mind is not your friend. So our mind, which is not our friend, starts arguing with us, and sometimes it feels like it's a battle going on between a dark and a light energy. I personally, I don't believe that anything other than love and pure light was originally created. In the Zoroastrian belief, there was a good man and a bad man, and they both create, and there's always opposites, but that's the dichotomy of good and bad. But I think it's human beings that have created these dark entities from their negativity and their toxic beliefs and their bad behaviour, basically, and they create these big areas, these pockets of dark energy. And just like the light can become fractals and sprinkles, you can get, yeah, absolutely, they take form. And your light has to be stronger. And you can actually go, get back, leave me alone. You can do that. Yeah, you can do that. I had a really horrible experience when I was very young, when my children were tiny, and we lived in an area in East London with a long, narrow garden, and my washing line was nearly at the bottom, and I started to feel that the darkness was encroaching up into my area near the house, and I could feel it getting stronger and stronger and more powerful, and it was rather like, do you remember the film The Never-Ending Story, where darkness creeps over the earth and takes away all the colour? And I actually got the vicar from the local church to come and see if he could exorcise my garden. And I got my mother, who channeled angels and things, to come and clear the energy, and she didn't know what it was either. All she could say was stop wearing such dark clothes. But actually I ended up going down the garden reciting over and over in my head the Lord's Prayer. And when I got to the bottom of the garden, I actually said, I didn't know where this came from. I was in my late 20s, and I was talking to this dark energy saying, I am of the light and you will not get me, now back off. And then I grabbed all my washing off the line and I ran into the house, and I was goosebumped all over. But I knew it wouldn't get me. I knew it wouldn't get me, because the light is stronger, the light is powerful. And that's what working with things like the angel cards, working with crystals, reflecting the light, working with prayer, working with chanting, working with blessing. Every one of these is a positive image, it's a positive message. There's no such thing as if you get the card upside down, it means a negative message. It doesn't. It just means, oh, it's upside down. I better pay attention to this one. What are the angels trying to tell me? So everything that we do when we're working with angels needs to be uplifting. It needs to be empowering and filled with light. And that's what we're here to do, really. That's exactly why we're here as light beings who've promised to come into a human body to have a human experience. And thanks to this camera website, I now know that it's scientifically proven that if you do not exchange that energy, you're likely to get too hot.